apparently stuns.
There.
So there we go. I need to reload my deck because, unfortunately, don't have any cards left. But the gimmick card for this battle, it kind of just makes the battlefield more workable. You can run around for a little bit, have a big platform instead of these little tiny rotating ones. It does help a lot. But it's not overly necessary for this fight. It's more so necessary to stop whatever Parasite Cage is up to. But yes, if you have more blizzards, you can take this boss out with blizzards alone. Very easy fight, honestly. Especially if you have a lot of blizzards, or fires for that matter, in your deck. Fire works just as well since it is a single target enemy. In general, fire is usually better for single target, and blizzard is better for enemies that are multiples, or multiple parts, or whatever. But I digress. For winning that battle, we do get the Parasite Cage enemy card. What does it do, you ask? Parasite Cage, it nullifies an opponent's enemy card. It's pretty good. We got another slate. We got Zentetsuken. If we have a card value 0 or 27, we unleash a devastating attack. Generally, I don't think this is a very useful slate. I think... Generally, I'd probably say this is probably one of, if not the most useless slates in the game. But it could be worse. There are worse things for us to have. So I apologize. It's going to be a slight cut in my audio as well as in the video there. You probably won't notice the cut in the video. You'll probably notice the one in the audio. I didn't realize I left like 5 minutes of just me sitting down one of the text box prompts. So we're just going to fix that because I'm not going to make y'all sit through that because I don't have anything to talk about during 5 minutes of nothing happening. But yes, as you saw, Pinocchio jumped all over the place and made such a ruckus that he managed to save the day. Or save the day. Save himself. There we go. Look at this. Pinocchio could have done that from the beginning. What were we here for? To be fair, Pinocchio was scared, and he needed someone to motivate him to do all that. But I digress. Pinocchio could have done it on his own. He didn't need us. Pinocchio did not need us in the slightest. But yes, as you see, ideas are forming in the heads of our trio. They are finding a way, or I guess the best way to put it is, they are figuring out a way to stop Monstro, or make Monstro cough them all up. Which, hey, you know what? Not a bad idea. Move around enough, be annoying enough inside of him, and we'll just give him indigestion. You know, if you're... I wish getting eaten by different things worked. Okay, continuing. I wish getting eaten by different things worked that easily. Just, hey, make enough of a racket and it'll spit you out. And we obtain the key to truth. So now, we only have one thing left to do. And that's to make our way to the key to truth. I will say, we have actually gotten through a lot of stuff so far. But, so, since that was our boss fight, what is the key to truth going to be? It's quite strange to have this in our key to truth. But we still have pathways to open up. I do realize I'm basically just stalling at this point. But yes, so now we need to make a big old ruckus in order to make Monstro spit out Sora and the gang. But yes, so with this will be our last thing we'll be doing here. We also get a new Keyblade from this world, Wishing Star. Wishing Star is alright. I think having a different attack cards would be a cooler mechanic. If Sora's swinging with his Keyblade should change from one card to another. I don't know. That'd be like a small little flavor thing, but I think it'd be really cool. Yeah. At this point, we're just trying to find our way in the right direction. And the fact that that needs specifically a 0 is so annoying. We're getting actually really close to the point where the maps start getting annoyingly big. Like, they never get completely dreadful, but at later worlds where I start avoiding battles entirely, that's what it comes down to. The maps are just big. Nothing else. And this is what I'm going to rant about this game. I think that was a very, very stupid design choice. And I know, I'm sitting there saying it's stupid, kind of being mean about it, but here's why I feel the way I do. I think it is a... Oh, look, there's a card that bounced away. I think making the game harder by making the enemies more difficult, making the players have to be more careful about their actions, I'm okay with that. But just making the areas colossally big and like annoyingly long to traverse, I don't think is a good way to elongate your game. So here, if you notice, I'm starting to buy all magic decks because I'm looking for blizzards and fires. I'm getting fires. I'd rather be getting a lot of blizzards at this point, but I do want fires for later. Because later we're going to be changing this deck quite a bit. Okay, we got a few good fires. We'll probably just burn the rest of my Moogle points on some attack cards. And we got Premium 8. I don't know if I mentioned this. The Premium cards are the ones with the glowing numbers on them. If a card is a Premium card, what that essentially means is that when you use it, it won't reload no matter what. But it has a lower cost when building your deck. So if you're going to do a lot of slates, then it's probably a good idea to put your premium cards as the first cards in your slates. That way, the card you lose, you are already going to lose. So at this point, I think, what was that? It was either 9 or 12 blizzards. I have 9 blizzards right now, unfortunately. And I don't want to put more in unless I can put in a multiple of 3. So what we're doing is we have blizzards, and then we're going to put a ton of fires in. We're setting it up so that the slates that we make out of these are reasonable strength. Making sure we have enough of different things. Put ethers after all of our fires so that we can reload without having to reload. Unfortunately, we only have a 3 ether, which 3 ethers kinda suck. Can't really do a whole lot about that. We put our attack cards in so that we have some offense. I'm pretty sure I put some heals in as well as we put some zeros in because we need our zeros. But that being said, here, I'm basically just carefully making this deck to make sure that it can do what I need it to. I only put 1 0 in. I don't think this has any heal cards in it. Well, that's not very good. I might end up having to fix that later. But yes, moving forward, we are going to put our plan into action. Also, I love how I said I need to fix that later when this entire project is recorded. So hopefully I did fix it at this point. If not, oh well. And it looks like this is as far as we go. So, here we go. It's time for us to put our plan into action. It's time to shake things up. God, why do I have all these long pauses? I think I was half asleep when recording this session, so I just kept zoning out randomly, which is why you have these really, really long pauses. Which, it annoys me seeing them now, but they're not long enough to where I'm like, oh wow, this is egregious. Except for like that one. But okay, it's time for us to make a racket inside a minstrel. So essentially what we're about to do is play a minigame, where our goal is to kill enemies as quickly as possible and get a meter up to the max. We have a time limit, and we want to max that meter out before the time limit runs out. So what I do, run around in front of these guys a bit, late talking and line up a good blizzard, and then let it rip. See here, I took a little bit too long, and we went from hitting a lot of enemies with an attack to single targeting, which isn't good.
Fire! Fire! Fire!
Yeah, unfortunately, this doesn't work out very well.
Fire!
It's not enough enemies are spawning for me to really get these really good attacks off that are just gonna raise the meter insanely fast. But yeah, unfortunately this time I'm just gonna slowly run out on me. So yeah, I messed this up a little bit. I could have fixed this and salvaged this, but I wasn't thinking. And so this is just a lovely waste of 2 minutes.
Fire!
I know, this is like so painful to watch, just me screw up. But it's okay. As painfully bad as this attempt is, the following attempt is actually really good.
Freeze! Freeze!
And yeah, we messed up.
Fire!
Yeah, I didn't do very well. This really is super easy, but I messed it up. Which sucks a lot, but what you gonna do? And let's do it again. Alright, so this time we're actually gonna run around a little bit long. No, we don't run around longer. But we do get a nice chain on those guys.
Freeze! Freeze!
Nearly instant because we cleared all the enemies out and it's just done. It's done beautifully. And with all of our rackets we did, Monster's gonna sneeze. And with the monster sneezing, he sneezes out Pinocchio and Geppetto. Now, normally be like, oh, why didn't he sneeze us out either? Well, let's remember, we are inside of Castle Oblivion, so of course we're not going to get sneezed at a monstro. But our goal has been achieved. We have gotten Geppetto and Pinocchio both to safety, which is the important part here. It is essentially the actual important thing here. which is good. And Jiminy, maybe Pinocchio doesn't need me after all. Well, you know what? I'll say, Jiminy, you did a good job raising Pinocchio. And Pinocchio might not need you now, but it's because he needed you before and you did such a good job. So, Jiminy, I'd say good job to you, good sir. Don't worry. And you know what? There's always a need for your conscience. Yeah, I really don't have much more to say about this world. Oh, this is a nice music track. Very simple. I like simple. And our reward for completing that battle is... Did I already show it? Because I think we got a Dumbo card. I might just be stupid and the game already showed it. Alright, you know what? That's perfectly fine. Because that is it for this episode. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this next episode. We'll be moving on to the last floor of this first section of cards, and that will be Halloween Town. See you guys then.